One of the biggest lessons that I ever learned in business, and something that I learned very, very early on, is that the quality of a business can be measured by the quality of its people. And that is why we have spent a long time building relationships, friendships, and recruiting the very, very best team for Captivate and all of the rebel-based media products and platforms. And today I want to introduce you to the Captivate Podcaster Experience team. I'm going to take behind the scenes of the team that helps you every single day. I'm, of course, Mark Asquith, CEO and co-founder of Rebel-Based Media, where we make Captivate.fm, the podcast hosting, analytics and marketing platform that is making waves in the podcasting space. We also, of course, make podcast websites, Podcast Success Academy, and the interaction startup in podcasting productivity. So please go and check out rebelbasedmedia.io for a few opinions, a few insights on what's going on in the industry, and of course check Captivate.fm for your podcast hosting and analytics needs. You can get a 7-day free trial over there. Now I am going to introduce you to the team in just 1 second. I'm going to give you a rundown of who it is that helps you, not only actually with Captivate, but with the rest of the Rebel-Based Media experience. We're going to dig into that in just a moment. But before I do that, a huge shout out to the team at AWeber, who also understand the value of the very best people, the most conscientious, personable people to help you with your email marketing. Now, if you're a podcaster, you need your own email list. You need to have that data and you need to own it. If you don't, trust me, you are leaving not only friendships and relationships on the table, you're leaving revenue on the table as well. So please go and check AWeber out for your email needs at markasquith.com/AWeber. All right. When we first ever started, the first Rebel-Based Media product, which is podcast websites, we were very keen, Kieran and I, on making sure that the brand stood out. Kieran and I have very specific personalities. We're very straight talking. We don't want to work with people that are just not nice people. And, very often I will step in and protect the team from people who are, frankly, a little bit rude. That's just one of the things that I do. I don't like people that are rude. And what we did when we first set up the business podcast websites was we made sure to recruit people who had a very similar mindset and ethic set to us, and who wanted to put people first, who valued personal relationships and friendships, and was always someone who was willing to give the time to people. And since then, the team has grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. So today I want to introduce you to the Captivate Podcaster Experience team. But what I need to tell you is that because Rebel-Based Media makes varying products, podcast websites, the Academy, Podcast Success Academy, and of course Captivate, what we do is each one of the support staff, each one of the team, they work, support, and experience on every single product, so that if you use more than one product, you'll get to know them. You will get to know the team. They will get to know your needs, desires, and where you want to go with your podcast. It's a really great way of building up a partnership with people. So, leading up the Rebel-Based Media podcaster support and experience team, we have our head of podcaster experience, Sam Hyam, who is also my better half. I think she's listening to me record this, so I have to say that. But she's certainly my better half in many respects, although I do beat her very often at Mario Kart, despite her practicing sneakily behind my back. Now, Sam has got a big background with the National Health Service, a fantastic project management background, a fantastic customer experience and personal background with people. She's an extremely friendly person, extremely kind and generous, and really, really goes out of her way to help everyone. And that is why she leads up our podcaster experience team, working on, of course, Captivate, working on, of course, podcast websites and Podcast Success Academy. And while Sam leads that team up, on the first line support, we have the wonderful Allegra Sinclair and the wonderful Judy, who has just joined us. Now, Allegra and Judy both work on the first line support for the Rebel-Based Media products. So if you're a Captivate user, you will have interacted with these fantastic ladies. And they both have a very wide range of podcasting experience with other podcast hosts, and experience with producing podcasts themselves, and also materials for podcasters. So they are absolutely wonderful at helping you, and they spend a heck of a lot of time conversing with our Captivate podcasters, not only on technical support, but on, opinions and almost to a degree, a little bit of coaching, helping you through some things that you might be working through yourself with your podcast. On the second line support, we have the fantastic Mr. Pierre Finnemore, who's one of our amazing software engineers, and he works on the Captivate product only, actually. So he's second line support on the technical side of things, because what he also does is he works up new features. So he's developing new features. He was the one that developed the sponsor kits for Captivate, the one-click sponsor kits, and the one that worked on the analytics time zone, so you can set your own analytics time zone. So Pierre is a fantastic software engineer, a big background in data analysis, data engineering, just an all-round exceptionally talented guy. He's very, very funny. He's a very funny guy. He puts me to shame. I'm now the fourth funniest person in our team. Pierre is number one. Kieran thinks he's number two, and I think probably Allegra is third. And Pierre just adds this real sensibility. He's a fantastically conscientious person and works very close with Allegra, Sam, and of course Judy to just enhance that level of support. So, if ever you think to yourself, wait a second, I need a little bit more help with this, and Allegra and Judy or Sam will say, do you know what, I'm going to ask an engineer to take a look at this. Pierre will probably be one of the people that takes a look at it. The other big shout out goes to our very first employee. I've saved the best. I guess I've saved the best for last year. Mr. Lester. Now, many of you who are podcast websites users, many of you who are Captivate users, you will have interacted with Lester. He's been with us since day one. He was our first ever employee back in early 2015 when it was just Kieran and I running podcast websites, pre-Rebel Base Media Group, pre-Captivate. We were running podcast websites, and Lester is an outstanding WordPress developer. He works second line support on podcast websites to make sure that the WordPress side of things is absolutely kick-ass and taking names. He's a wonderfully conscientious guy and a very, very talented developer. Now, we also have some other people that you'll probably see on the front lines of support. People like Ethan, who is our wonderful DevOps intern, helping Ethan out with his studies, and he's helping us out with just really getting involved in the product and the platform and adding his very unique take on things. He's coming at it from a DevOps perspective. So he's fantastic at what he does. We also have Ed, who you will see at the events, working, of course, on the productivity startup. Now, that's a very specific startup. He's the sole engineer on that right now until we grow that team out, and we are working that proof of concept up for the current version of productivity as we speak. So Ed is an absolutely wildly talented engineer. And then, of course, you've got myself and Kieran, who act as third line support. So if something, goes wrong, ultimately the buck stops with us. The buck stops with Kieran and I. We're the founders. I'm the CEO. He's the CTO. We're the people that build all the platforms out. Whenever we build a platform, we build it ourselves first, then recruit a team around it. We did that with podcast websites. We did that with productivity. And of course, we did that with the Academy and Captivate. So you've got a very extensive team there working on Captivate and, of course, the Rebel Base Media product suite in general. This is why we can offer exceptionally high quality and fast support. We actually have, during the week, Monday through Friday, we have legitimate 24/7 coverage. When the UK team is online, 9 to 5 UK, we then hand over to Allegra and the US team, who picks up 9 to 5 Pacific, and then we hand over to Judy, who covers 5 p.m. Pacific until 9 a.m. UK time. So it's quite literally 24/7 support in the week. And at the weekend, we actually dedicate a few hours every single day to support as well. Not like many of the other podcast hosts. In fact, I think 99% of the podcast hosts who close on a weekend. We don't do that. We dedicate 3 or 4 hours per day, per weekend, to making sure that you have the support you need. So the reason I wanted to introduce you to the team was just because, this is the Podcast Accelerator. This is my show. A lot of the time, it's a shame. I get all the limelight just because I'm the mouthy one. I'm the one that's on camera. I'm the one that's on podcasts. Kieran, sometimes he's on stage like me speaking, but he's doing a little bit more of that, but he still doesn't do as much as I do. But the guys that are running the things behind the scenes, Judy, Pierre, Sam, Ethan, Allegra, Lester, the rest of the team, they're the ones that are really making the day-to-day tick. And they're an absolutely fantastic team. We're very privileged, very honoured to be able to work with them and to count each one of them as a very close friend. So treat them like that. Treat them as friends. They'll treat you as friends, and let's work together. It's a fantastic time to be working in podcasting. And I know we're all very grateful to be able to do it with you. So that is the That is the Rubber-Based Media podcaster support and experience team. You'll see them dotted around in the Facebook group, and also you'll see them, of course, supporting the platforms, podcast websites, Podcast Success Academy, and, of course, Captivate. They're all very wise, they're all very experienced, they're all very personal, and, of course, they all know podcasting in and out. So please, spend a bit of time getting to know each other and just enjoying the experience of podcasting together. Now, listen, thank you so much for joining me. Happy Easter to everyone out there. Please stay safe. Please stay sane. And until the next time, never forget, the more you expect from yourself, the more you will excel.